Hi friends, this is Mrs. Rossi. We are going to review the new sound that we've learned. We learned that AU and AW are vowel teams that make the aw sound. AU says aw in the beginning or middle of a word, and AW says aw at the end of a word or syllable. Sometimes AW can say aw in the middle of a word if it's followed by an N or an L. So that's a tricky little piece to try to remember there. Today we are going to work with some words and we are going to practice spelling words that use the AU and the AW rules. So let's get started. The first word that I'm going to ask you to spell, and so that means, before we start, that you are going to need something to write with. So you could use a piece of paper, you could use a dry erase board. If you want to be creative and use some paint or crayons, you can use whatever you'd like to spell these words. You can pause this video, and when you have the materials you need, you can come back on. So we're going to spell a few words in one sentence together. The first word is the word August. Repeat that after me. August. Good. In August, it sometimes gets very warm. We're going to spell the word August by first pounding out the syllables we hear. So in August, we hear August. So we have a word with two syllables. So now we're going to tap out the sounds we hear. So in the first syllable, aw, we hear aw. In the next syllable, gust, we hear g-u-s-t. August. Can you spell that? I'll show you how I spelled the word August. 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 And I know that there's one correction that I need to make to this word, so I'm going to write it once more on the line next to it, because I know that August needs a capital A because it's the name of a month. So I know that any name that I write has to start with a capital letter. So I have August. The next word is the word haunt. Can you repeat that word? Haunt. Very good job. The ghost will haunt the house at the Halloween festival. Haunt. Let's pound that word out to see how many syllables it has. Ready? Haunt. So we have a word with one syllable. And now let's tap that word out to hear the sounds that make up the word haunt. Aw-nt. Haunt. I hear aw in the middle of the word. Aw-nt. Good. You try to spell that word, and I'm going to show it to you. Haunt. Very good job. If you need some more time to spell a word before I show it to you, just pause the video and take your time. We have 3 more words. The next word is the word fault. Can you repeat that word? Fault. Very good job. Here's the sentence. It was my fault the juice spilled at dinner. Fault. Let's pound that word out to hear how many syllables we have. Fault. Good, we have one syllable. And let's tap that word out. Fault. 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 Good, you try to spell that word, and then I'll show it to you. The word is fault. 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 Very good. The next word is the word straw. Can you say that word? Straw. Very good. We put straw in the barn to keep the animals warm. Straw. Let's pound that word to hear how many syllables it has. Straw. We have one syllable. Let's tap that word out. Straw. Straw. I hear aw at the end of this word, so I have to think about how to spell aw if I know that it comes at the end of the word straw. You try to spell it. Here's what I have. Straw. Very good job. The last word is the word seesaw. Can you say that word for me? Seesaw. Very good. The children were playing on the seesaw at the park. Seesaw. Let's pound that out. See how many syllables we have? Seesaw. We have 2 syllables. Okay? Let's tap out the first part. See. S-E. I have to think about how I want to spell that E sound in the word seesaw. And the second syllable was seesaw. Let's tap out that second syllable. S-aw. Again, I have aw coming at the end of that word and at the end of that syllable. So let's try to spell the word seesaw, and then I'll show it to you. Here it is. Seesaw. So we have a vowel team right here, R-E-E, and we have our vowel team that we end the word with, which is a little interesting that we call AW a vowel team. It can also be called a diphthong, but we're going to stick with the word vowel team because that's what you know and that's what we've been using. Very good job, friends. So let's read these words together down the list. We have the words starting from the top: August, haunt, fault, straw, and seesaw. Good job. Okay, we have a sentence now that we're going to work on together. So in this sentence, we are going to first pound out the words that we hear in the sentence. So let me share the sentence with you, and then I'm going to ask you to pound out the words you hear in the sentence. So the sentence is, Paul left the straw on the lawn. I'll say that again. Paul left the straw on the lawn. Let's pound that out together. Ready? Get your pounding fist. Here we go. Paul left the straw on the lawn. Good. Can you spell that sentence? You'll notice I put a line for each word that you hear in that sentence. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm going to show you what it looks like in just about 3 seconds. Here we go. Paul left the straw on the lawn. So I now am going to take a look over here at my COPS that I have listed here in this vertical line, and I know that COPS helps me to revise and review my sentence. So let's take a quick look. I have a C for capitalization, and I did capitalize the first letter in the first word because I know that's how I start a sentence, but it also happens to be a man's name. So I'm also going to capitalize it because I know that I always capitalize names. All right. So now I'm going to look at the order. Is my sentence in order? Paul left the straw on the lawn. Yep, those are the words I needed. All in the right order. How about punctuation? Periods, exclamation points, commas, things like that. Well, I actually missed a period in this sentence, so when I rewrite it on the bottom, I'm going to fill in that period. And the last thing I'm going to look at is my spelling. So, Paul, I have that aw sound in the middle of the word, and I know that that's what the name Paul looks like. Left the straw. I spelled the word straw before, and I know it ends with an AW because I hear the aw sound at the end of a word, so I'm good with that. On the lawn. I know AU makes the aw sound in the middle of a word, but that word looks funny to me. And I do remember that sometimes in words, I could have a W in the middle of a word if it's followed by an N or an L. So since this word has an N that follows the aw sound, I think I'm going to change that to AW. I think that looks right if I change it to AW. Let me show you my rewritten sentence. Paul left the straw on the lawn. I corrected my period, and I know for sure that that looks right now. Please correct your sentence too, and make sure that you have your final sentence written down on your paper. Good job, everybody.